Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shayna, and today, as you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to do a roundup of the Labo city exclusives that I actually own. In case you don't know, this month, September, is the only month where you can purchase all of the city exclusives at any Labo store in your area, whereas normally you would only be able to purchase them in the city that they are. So if that makes any sense at all, if you're in Los Angeles, you can only purchase the Los Angeles one here. If you're in Miami, that's the only one you can purchase there. But for the month of September, they allow everybody to purchase any of the city exclusives. So I wanted to try and get this video out as soon as possible so that if there's anybody that's interested in trying any of these city exclusive fragrances from Labo, that you still have a little bit of time to decide which one you want to try. Hopefully, you know, you live in an area where you can actually go in store. So if there isn't a Labo counter or store in your area, I hope that maybe I can describe the fragrances well enough to give you sort of an idea of whether you would like the fragrance if you want to try it. They do have the sample size little vials that you can buy on their website. I think they're $12 each, which is pretty pricey, but that's an alternative if you don't want to buy like the larger sizes. You can always try them, and then that way, like next year, for example, if you really did enjoy that fragrance, you can pick it up then, or you know, if you don't end up liking the fragrance that you purchase online, you can always give it to someone who might like it. I know it's a little bit hard with fragrances, especially if it's a blind buy, you know, so. And it has been a while since I have filmed a video, and it's just been a crazy busy year. I'm actually almost at the end of my second pregnancy, so if I look a little bit puffy, or like I've gained some weight, that would be the reason for that. So yeah, it's really exciting and feeling super blessed to be having another baby. So but yeah, let's just get into the videos. So I actually have 4 of the city exclusives. I have, in no particular order, I have Miami, which is Tabac 28. Tabac 28. And these are the, how much are these? Okay, so these are the 15 ml or the 0.5 fluid ounce. I think this is, yeah, this is the smallest size you can get other than the tester size. And I did not want to purchase the, I'll get into it, but I wanted to purchase the smallest ones I could, even though they're not a good value, obviously. Excuse me. So I have Tabac 28, which is Miami. I have Mousse de Chene 30. This one is Amsterdam. Mousse, there it is, Mousse de Chene. And then I have, this is, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but this is Bigarade or Bigarade 18, and this is for Hong Kong. And then the last one that I have is Gaiac 10, and this is for Tokyo. So let's just, I'm gonna try and go into the notes with you. I'm not a very good, I mean, I don't know, we'll see, describer of scents, but I will do my best. And hopefully I can, you know, put out some more fragrance videos for you guys. Fragrance is another one of my like big time interests in addition to skincare. So I do have quite a, you know, large perfume collection. So I'm going to film that at some point soon. And if this video goes well, you know, maybe I'll film more in the future. So, but let's get into these. So I've actually sprayed all 4 of these on the little tester blotter already. So I have all of these in their sort of dry down stage already, so that I can give you my, you know, thoughts when I first spray them, because I'm going to spray all of them on some new blotters, and then I will give you my thoughts on the dry down as well. So obviously with any fragrance, it's going to smell different when you spray it on your skin. We all know that. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to just be spraying them on the blotter cards. So, and then I'll get into which one's my favorite. And I apologize that I keep sniffling, but it's just a pregnancy symptom. You're just congested all the time. So let's just grab any random one. The first one that picked up was Bigarade 18. This is Hong Kong. Let me go through the notes with you. So Bigarade 18 is described, I have my notes, sorry. Bigarade 18 is described as a citrus white floral. So it has top notes of neroli, bergamot, bigarade or bigarade, which is bitter orange. It has middle notes of lily and base notes of ambergris, musk, and cedar. So those are the notes. And with all the Labo fragrances, you know, that's not all of the notes. The number that is associated with it is supposedly how many notes or how many different fragrance components, oils are in the fragrance. So just that's kind of an idea of how maybe complex the fragrance is. So this is 18, so that's, you know, I don't know, maybe middle of the range in terms of like profile. So let me just give you my sort of first initial impression of the first spray. Okay. Okay, so right off the bat, I get heavy neroli, which I love neroli. It's one of my favorite top notes and just notes in general. I do get the bergamot, and there is that bitterness. So the bitterness does come from the Bigarade, which is the bitter orange. Overall, when I first spray this, to me, it is heavy on the citrus for sure, but it's not heavy on the citrus in like a lemony, because there's no lemon in it. It's really just citrus floral, well, with the neroli at least. And then you do get that that citrusy element from the bergamot and then the bitter orange. So if you're someone who likes neroli, I think you would really enjoy this. Right off the bat, I don't get a lot of the lily, actually. I do get a little bit of the cedar in the background. So to me, overall, this scent smells like, and I don't know if anybody else has been to this store in Hong Kong or in Asia, but there's this store called Shanghai Tang, and it's like a pretty, I guess, high-end sort of luxury clothing and apparel brand. But this scent reminds me so much of going into that store, and they do have home scents. So yeah, this scent is, I want to say it is a very good portrayal of Hong Kong. I don't know if any of you are aware, but I actually grew up there. So this particular fragrance, it does have sort of a special place in my heart because, you know, it is Hong Kong, and I love Hong Kong's, you know, is my first sort of home. So I do feel like it is a good portrayal. It does sort of encompass what I think of when I think of Hong Kong in terms of a fragrance, in like a very sophisticated and chic way. So it has like almost this kind of, it doesn't have any, well, at least from the notes, it doesn't have any tea in it. Like it doesn't have green tea or anything like that. And it doesn't have any jasmine either, but it just, the white florals sort of give off that jasmine sort of tea-esque quality to it. To me, it just smells exactly like the like Shanghai Tang store. I know that doesn't help anybody that hasn't been to that store, but it just smells like white floral tea to me. And let me just smell the dry down now. So where is it? Okay, so I have them labeled. So here's my Bigarade 18 one. So this one, let's see. Okay, so immediately in the dry down, it is pure musk and cedar, and I'm guessing that is the ambergris. Almost no neroli or any of the top notes. I mean, obviously, because these are the base notes. You get a hint. You do get a hint of that little slight sweetness from the floral. Just, it's barely there though. Mainly musk and cedar is what I get in the dry down. But oh, the top, you guys, this is just, it is such a beautiful fragrance. It really, really is. And I wore this to, the last time I wore this was at one of my really close friends' weddings. And when I sat down in my seat during the ceremony, several of the ladies that were sitting around me were asking me, like, what perfume is that? And I had actually brought this little bottle in my little clutch that I had, because I just, I was like, it's so tiny, I can just bring it with me and reapply if I need to. And so this is definitely a complimented fragrance that I think a lot of people would like. Just, it's not strong, so projection wise I think it's pretty good in the beginning, but I would say it's like a medium projection. It's not a heavy fragrance, it's a light fragrance. It's you've got those citrus florals in there with the neroli. It's not a complicated fragrance in my opinion. It's very it's just, it is what it is. So you do get the neroli, you get the bergamot in the beginning, you get the bitter orange, and then in the dry down, I don't get a lot of the lily, so I'm not sure. But again, all the notes that are listed, I check Fragrantica for all the notes and the information. They're not going to list every single note. They don't know. So there could be other things in here that we're not aware of. But in the dry down, I get just that beautiful cedar and the musk. I'm a huge fan of musk and cedar in base notes. It's like two of my favorite base notes. So if you're someone who likes lighter citrus florals, I think you would really like this. If you like neroli, you would love this. So if you're into like Tom Ford Neroli Portofino or Bottega Veneta the Knot, those two I get vibes from those two in this. But this has more of that woody sort of musky dry down. It doesn't have any of that like aquaticness like Neroli Portofino does. And then Bottega Veneta the Knot is just pure neroli, to me at least. But this to me just evokes sort of like this Chinese tea house with, I don't know, white flowers sort of sprinkled throughout, and wooden, maybe like wooden paneling or wooden chairs that you're sitting on, and yeah, that's the vibe that I get. It's very chic. It's very sophisticated. And honestly, like this could be a really beautiful home fragrance as well. That's why when I say it reminds me of the Shanghai Tang store so much is because I'm pretty sure they spray their home fragrance all over the store, like, you know, like they do at Abercrombie and Fitch, for example, even though that's not a home store, but you know, they spray like even outside the store. So that is what I get when I smell this. And yeah, I think they did a really good job, and I do enjoy this one very much. It's not my favorite out of the bunch. We'll get to that. I would say it's probably like my second favorite. So, okay. So that is Bigarade 18. Okay, so the next one that I picked up is Tabac 28. This is for Miami. And the reason that I wanted to try this one, or that I picked this one up, is because my husband and I went on a trip to Miami. This was before we were married, I think. It was just shortly before we got married, and it was just a really fun trip. And we have a lot of memories there, and we both just love Miami overall. We think it's just like one of the coolest places. So, you know, I wanted to get this one sort of in memory of that trip and just for our love for that city. So this is a completely different fragrance than anything that I own. And actually I bought this really for my husband. So that kind of gives you an idea of the profile, the scent profile of this. This to me leans towards more the masculine side. And I forgot to mention Bigarade 18, in my personal opinion, leans more towards the feminine side, because it just, to me, like, I don't think a man would be particularly interested in that type of fragrance. It's just the white florals with the neroli and everything, but the Labo fragrances are supposedly unisex, so anybody can wear them, but I do think that certain fragrances lean more feminine, certain fragrances lean more masculine. So this is one of those fragrances that in my opinion leans much more on the masculine side. However, when I did purchase this in the store, the sales associate told me that all the women that he's, you know, smelled this on have smelled absolutely amazing. So if you are into, you know, tobacco and spicy scents, kind of smoky, spicy, you would probably really, really like this. So, okay, first of all, let's get into the notes. So for Tabac 28, this is described as a woody tobacco, warm, spicy scent. So, yeah. It has, and for some of the Labo fragrances, they don't list them in like top note, middle note, and base note on Fragrantica. So this one in particular doesn't. So all this said was it has tobacco leaf, rum, cedar, guaiac wood, and cardamom. So 28, Tabac 28 means it has 28, you know, fragrance components in it. So obviously the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I listed, or 5 that I listed rather, do not encompass, you know, the complexity of this entire fragrance, but that gives you sort of an idea. So let's just spritz this one, and I just hope I don't get this all over myself today, because I don't particularly want to smell like this today. But I'm gonna spray it over here. I'll spray it here. Hopefully it won't get it on me. Okay, and look at the color of it. It's actually that sort of amber color. Okay, so, all right, right off the bat is instantly I get tobacco. It's a little bit sweet, so maybe that comes from the rum. Okay, I get a woodiness and the spiciness, I guess, you know, from the cardamom. It is really, really nice, though. It is really nice. It's just blended so well. It's not sharp. It doesn't hit you with like a spice bomb or anything like that. It's not. It's very, it's spicy and smoky, but it's like mellow and smooth at the same time. So it's like, It doesn't say it has, I mean, I don't know. We don't know if it has vanilla in it, but it has this sort of sweetness to it. There's not, it's not heavy on the booziness. Like, even though it has rum, it's not super boozy smelling. Like, maybe that's where the sweetness comes from, but not necessarily the boozy aspect. But it's very warm. It's very, you know, heavy on the tobacco, but not like smoke. It's just like tobacco leaves. Like, it smells like tobacco leaves, with like the smokiness from maybe the woods. Like, the woodiness is giving it the smokiness. Yeah, it's really blended well. Okay, so let's smell the dry down version. Wow, the dry down is so different. It's just, in the dry, I don't know if it's because it was sitting next to one of the other blotters, but the dry down, all the smokiness is gone. It's just a light woodiness. There's no tobacco left. It's just a very light woodiness. That's it. There isn't even any sweetness. Yeah, okay, so interesting. It's a really, really nice fragrance, you guys. To me, in my opinion, like I said, it leans a bit more masculine. However, I do think that because it is a little bit sweet, you could definitely pull this off as like a, you know, if you're a woman and you like those sort of spicy, smoky scents. 100% a nighttime scent though, for sure. This would, I don't think you would wear this during the day. This would be like, so when I paint a picture of what this fragrance smells like to me, it's nothing. Okay, so I don't get any sort of that ocean spray at all. Like, you don't get any aquaticness, nothing marine, no, like, I don't get sea salt, nothing. It's nothing like that. So that's, you know, kind of interesting that they didn't really incorporate that aspect into Miami, since that's what I think of when I think of Miami. But they did, you know, they brought in that smokiness, you know, from cigars or something like that. So maybe you're sitting in like a bougie, you know, lounge or an apartment building overlooking the ocean, and I just get this feeling of the warmth, like dark wood around you, and you know, you're sitting there sipping on some rum or something. But I don't really get, I mean, if I didn't know that this was a Miami scent, if I smelled it, I wouldn't think that smells like Miami. That's just my opinion though. It's just, yeah, I'm not really sure what aspect of Miami they were going for when they created this, other than the smokiness from like the Cuban cigars that you would probably be smoking in Miami. But yeah, like a very high-end cigar or something like that. But yeah, it doesn't evoke Miami to me. But, you know, maybe for a man who is from Miami or loves going to Miami or something like that, maybe this would remind them of Miami. I'm not sure. But like I said, if you are a woman that likes these sort of smoky fragrances, you would probably really, really enjoy this, actually. It's beautifully blended. It's just, it's not too heavy on the spice. That's one thing I'm not a fan of. I don't like spicy scents. Like Orientals, they're not my favorite sort of scent category, I guess. I'm not really sure where, like what category of fragrance Tabac 28 fits into, because it's not super, super heavy on the spice where I would say, oh yeah, that's an oriental. Or, you know, it's not, definitely not a floral. It is just a purely woody, smoky, slightly boozy, and very slightly sweet fragrance. That, again, I think would be more suited for men, but would also work for women just because it has a slight hint of sweetness in it. And so, yeah, I think that's why it would work for both. But overall, more of a masculine fragrance. That is Tabac 28. And moving on to the third fragrance I have, Mousse de Chene. This is Amsterdam. Let's get into the notes and what this is described as. So Mousse de Chene, which actually in French means oak moss, so is described as a woody, earthy, mossy fragrance, and it contains in no, you know, top, middle, or base notes. It's just oak moss, patchouli, pink pepper, woody notes, West Indian bay, and cinnamon. And this has 30 fragrance components in it, so it's actually the most out of all the ones that I have. So this is probably going to be the most complex, and in my opinion it is. So definitely is the most complex that I have. So let's just get into the spray of this. Oh, and well, let me get back to Tabac 28, but so Mousse de Chene. Okay, so at first spray, I get hit with the oak moss immediately. I guess there is a little bit of patchouli in there. Yeah, there is. Slight pink pepper, yeah. I don't get any of the cinnamon, really. But, okay, so, sorry, I keep tickling my nose. If you are someone who loves oak moss, or I think it's called a chypre, I think that's the category. It's spelled C-H-Y-P-R-E. If you are someone who enjoys that category of fragrances, you will love this. And I am. I love oak moss. I love chypres. They are some of my favorite fragrance categories. It is really really good. The projection on this is pretty intense. I think this is probably the strongest out of all three, or all four. Out of all four that I have. The sillage too. Like if you were to spray this and then leave the room, and it would still be there when you come back for sure. Yeah, so not a sweet fragrance at all. It is pure oak moss. It's pure earthy and woody. It is just earthy and woodiness. Green. That's what I think of. It's a green fragrance. It's not sweet. It's not powdery by any means. It's not aldehydic. You don't get any aldehydes. It's just pure earthiness and green and woodiness. And patchouli. Well, yeah, so that would be sort of the earthy quality and the oak moss. So let's smell the dry down version. Okay, so in the dry down, pure woods. I mean, I guess, see, I don't know what West Indian Bay smells like, so I can't tell you, like, oh, I smell West Indian Bay. But there might be a hint of spice, and that might be the cinnamon. But overall, I mean, this fragrance is pure oak moss. And I don't really know the background on this fragrance in terms of why they picked these notes for Amsterdam. But from what I've heard, it's sort of a a combination of progressive or traditional with progressive, since that is supposedly what Amsterdam is all about. You know, they're very progressive, yet they, you know, have this like history and tradition that they like to keep. And so I can't say that that's what I smell. Like, I guess in a way there is that aspect to it, because you don't really know, you can't pinpoint this fragrance. You can't say like it definitely smells one way or the other in terms of, you know, whether it's like something from not of this world, something totally new, and then you can't really say that it's something that you've smelled time and time again in different fragrances for sure. So I guess it does kind of evoke that juxtaposition, I guess, of those two ideas. But so in overall, I think if you are someone who really enjoys oak moss, you would really really like this fragrance, and it is strong. So you are going to be smelling like that all day, and it will linger on your clothes, it will linger in your hair. It is a very strong fragrance. It's really nice though. That was the main reason why I bought this one, was just because I thought it smelled really great. And I think this could be worn definitely by either male or female. This is not strictly either one or the other. And my husband actually really likes this one too. So yeah, definitely a unisex fragrance. Just, it's, I will say at the initial spray, it is a bit sharp in the sense of you get that really, you just get hit with that oak moss. But then it dries down and it's a little bit more, a little bit smoother. But I get heavy on the oak moss, patchouli, and the woodiness. The pink pepper is in there, but doesn't stand out to me. So if you're into those sort of fragrance notes, I think you would really enjoy this. And again, this one projects and sillage like 1000%. So, and it's long lasting, in my opinion, the most long lasting out of all of them. So yeah, if you're someone who likes oak moss, you will enjoy Mousse de Chene a lot. So that was Mousse de Chene. And then last but not least, and I did save the best for last. So I saved Gaiac 10. This one is for Tokyo. This is my favorite Labo fragrance, and I say Labo in general because I do have Santal 33 as well, which is like their pretty much cult classic at this point. If you haven't smelled Santal 33, I'm sure you have, you just didn't know. It is very popular. A lot of people, either you love it or you hate it. Yeah, it's one of those very polarizing fragrances, but this to me is just, it is one of my, I would say, top, I don't know, 3 fragrances that I have, and I really want to purchase the bigger size, but I still have so much left. And yeah, I have about, I would say I've only used maybe like that much, so I still have like all that left. So I'm not gonna buy the full size until I go through this one, although I do like the idea of having this one because it's so cute and tiny, and I can bring this with me if I wanted to, you know, respray it throughout the day. But okay, so let me just stop rambling. Let's get into this fragrance. So Gaiac 10 Tokyo is described as woody and musky. That's it. And it contains notes of musk, guaiac wood, which is actually Palo Santo, which I didn't know, cedar, and olibanum, which I found out is actually frankincense. So yeah, musk, guaiac wood, which is Palo Santo, cedar, and olibanum, which is frankincense. And let's just get into this first initial spray. I love this stuff so much. I don't want to spray it. I don't want to waste it, but it is just, ugh, it's so good. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's just, okay, if you, okay, initially, it's just woody heaven. It is woody. It is just musky. I love musk. It is probably my favorite note out of all fragrances. I own, you know, one of the most popular musk fragrances, Narciso Rodriguez for her. And I love musk. Plain and simple. I love musk. But the way that this is combined with the woodiness is just divine. Okay, let me smell the dry down. It's probably not even going to be there. Yeah, it's almost completely gone. So this fragrance, like, this does not project. It's not a heavy, you know, projection fragrance. It's not heavy in the sillage department. It is a much closer to the body type of fragrance. It's more of a skin scent. So you're not going to be, you know, people aren't going to be offended by this fragrance at all. This fragrance you could wear in an office setting and be perfectly fine, which I should mention. Let me go back to, really quick, let me go back to Tabac and Mousse de Chene. This one, if you're a man and you're into smoky, sort of spicy fragrances, I think you could wear this to an office and it'd be fine. But to me, it's more of like an evening sort of lounge fragrance. But if you're someone who wears those types of fragrances regularly, then I would not see a problem with wearing this in an office. Mousse de Chene, because it projects so much, and if you want to wear this in an office, I would say just go very light. Go very light on the sprays. Don't be dousing yourself in it, because then you will probably give somebody a headache. I would say just a couple, like one spray on each arm, and then maybe one spray on the neck, or just spray it and then walk into it. Sometimes I do that with a lot of my stronger fragrances. But this one, just be careful, is all I have to say. Gaiac 10 though, this is it's just my favorite type of fragrance. If you are just someone who loves musks and woods, you will love this fragrance so much. I just love how it's so skin-like. It's not sweet at all. It's not powdery. It is just pure musk and pure woodiness. And I guess there is that frankincense. It's in the background though. It's there, but it's not like very present where it smells spicy in any way. To me, I don't get spiciness from this fragrance. It's there. It's definitely there, but it's almost in a way acting as like a slight smokiness from like wood. I wouldn't say that it's there in a spicy sort of, like you would, you know, like for example, in the Tabac 28. That one to me has a lot more of the spiciness from the cardamom. This one, the frankincense, is very mellow, but it like I said, it's kind of just there to mesh that woodiness with the muskiness. I don't know how to describe it any better than that. I cannot get enough of this, you guys. I could wear this fragrance anywhere. Daytime, nighttime. At night I'd probably go a little heavier on it. But during the day, this is a perfect fragrance for any time. You know, I wouldn't say that it's like a special occasion fragrance. it's more of like a just everyday sort of skin scent. If you want to smell nice and you want people to not be offended by a fragrance, I think this is a perfect fragrance for you. It's just, to me, the best combination of musks and woods. It is so good. And I mean, I'm not really sure why they used these fragrance notes for Tokyo. I couldn't tell you, honestly. I mean, maybe there's some sort of, like, I could kind of see maybe walking around like a temple or a shrine, you might get a sense of why they used, you know, these notes in this fragrance. But it's not, I don't know what aspect of Tokyo they were, you know, going for when they created this fragrance. But to me, it's not, I don't get like, you know, city life or, you know, this bustling urban sort of environment. I get more of this sort of tranquil Zen like experience when I smell this. So not sure why they picked Tokyo. I'm guessing because, you know, that's the biggest city in Japan, the most well-known city in Japan. That's why they use Tokyo for this, you know, for the city exclusive. But it's much more of a, like a Zen garden or something like that. A Zen garden in the city, but you don't really get like that city vibe. It's very tranquil and peaceful and inoffensive, and just very, yeah, very serene. Like you could wear this to anything, and everyone would be, I mean, they would, I don't think anybody's gonna come up to you and say, wow, like you smell amazing, what is that, you know? It would be more of like, because it's worn so much closer, it doesn't project out as much, you know, it would just be like if your skin smelled really nice, like you just like sort of like that clean skin, but like woodiness mixed in, nothing powdery, just straight musks and woods combined so perfectly together. So if you're someone who really likes those types of fragrances, I think you're gonna absolutely love this one. So yeah, you guys, that is a roundup of all 4 of the city exclusives that I own. Hopefully that gives you an idea if you were interested in any of them. I hope I was able to describe them well. But yeah, you know, I think they do have like a discovery set as well, so you can also try that. I know it comes with several of their probably more popular city exclusive tester size, so that's kind of a good way if you want to just get your, you know, just get in and smell them all, or smell the most popular ones. But those, I would say, you know, these, out of all the ones that I've smelled all of them. I was just in store the other day, and Gaiac and Mousse de Chene are still my top 2 out of all of them. I know, you know, Los Angeles, the musk one is popular. I know Paris, the Vanille 44, I think, I'm not sure. I know those 2 are also popular, but to me, the musk one from Los Angeles is just, it's not, I prefer Gaiac 10. And like this one isn't, you know, it's not called musk, it's called Gaiac 10. But to me, this is just such a beautiful musky, woody fragrance. I did not like musk from the Los Angeles one as nearly as much as this. So if that gives you kind of an idea, if you weren't sure, like, you know, because that one's called musk, you know, maybe you're gonna like that one. And Gaiac, like, what does that even mean? It's just a type of wood. Rather, Gaiac, I think is how you pronounce it. But to me, this is the most beautiful musk fragrance that I have. It's not sweet, it's not floral at all, it's pure musk and woods. and that is why I love this one so much. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. And like I was mentioning in the beginning, I will be doing a video on my current sort of perfume collection that I not necessarily that I rotate through, but just the ones that I'm currently using. Not my entire collection, because that would take a long time. And I don't wear half of what I own. I just hoard a lot of fragrances, and I can't get rid of them because they just, I don't know, they're just so pretty, and I just love knowing that I have them, and it's not a good reason to keep them, since fragrances don't always stay good forever. They do pretty much go bad after a while. But yeah, I'm going to be filming that at some point. I'm also going to be filming my updated skincare routine, so if you're interested in what I've been using lately, that one is going to go up very soon as well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in my next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.